al-Akhirah is that month that probably has the most accuracy in the night that she was martyred and buried later on in the next night. This is the night that has the most probability. So we thank Allah, first of all, that we truly believe that the majalis of Ahlul Bayt are something that we are invited to. And that you think that you came yourself. No. Allah put that in your mind. Allah facilitated for you to be here right now. And as you know, this is the funeral of Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam, you can say. And when you have a funeral, who do you think is looking at you and observing the most that you have come for her? Rasulullah, Messenger of Allah. And he is saying congratulations to you because the people of Medina, some of my quote-unquote companions, they did not come to my daughter's funeral. Medina didn't wear black. They didn't do azadari for Sayyida Fatima. Only a handful of people. But tonight, after 1400 years, you are coming to the funeral of Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam. So make sure you know that Rasulullah is giving this inayat and attention to you. So make worth, please, those that are distracting others or those that are not paying attention, pay attention for these next 30, 40 minutes and try to get as much blessings as you can from this holy lady. Our scholars say, our ulama have said, that whenever you have a situation where you do not know the answer, you don't know what to do, approach Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam, Hazrat Fatima Zahra alayhi salam. Those that have defended the oppressed, and they say whenever we came into a situation where we didn't know what to do, we were overwhelmed. That is when we began to do tawassul to Sayyida Fatima. This is one of the strongest ways to connect to God. And this is one of the best ways to reach salvation and to reach shafa'at and intercession, is by clinging on to the abaya, to the chador of Sayyida Fatima tonight. If you have children, you're worried about them, what's going to happen? Swear Allah by this holy name. If you have sick people, swear Allah by her holy name. If you have people that have passed away from your family, as we have our dear marhum Muhammad Azmoon who passed away, we ask Allah because of Sayyida Fatima, inshallah, to forgive everyone that has departed. Let's give a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajafar. We read in the Holy Quran, وَأَصْحَابُ الشِّمَالِ مَا أَصْحَابُ الشِّمَالِ فِي سَمُومٍ وَحَمِيمٍ وَظِلٍّ مِّن يَحْمُومٍ لَا بَارِدٍ وَلَا كَرِيمٍ. In Surah Al-Waqa'ah, which is one of the surahs that Allah in hadith mentions, in hadith is mentioned that if you do not want to be one of the ghafilun, if you do not want to be one of those that forgets God, if you don't want to have negligence, to recite this surah. Because when you recite Surah Al-Waqa'ah, it talks about the hereafter. In these verses, it gives descriptions of the punishment and chastisement of those that failed their test in this world. It mentions that the people of the left, they will be in scorching fire, scalding water, and a shade of black smoke, neither cool nor beneficial. Then Quran mentions what they have done to deserve such punishment. And if you want to know what not to do in life, this is one of the answers. Allah says in Quran, the following verse, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ مُتْرَفِينَ. Indeed, they were before that indulging in affluence. They were the mutrafin. Some people, when you look at mutrafin, they think those that were rich. Would it make sense that only hell will be full of those that are rich? In Al-Tafsir al-Mizan, you look, and other tafasir, they say that mutrafin, doesn't necessarily have to do with money. It has to do with bounties that Allah has given you. And you use those bounties and blessings in the wrong way. It's not only a person that is a billionaire that is going to go, for example, he spends his money in the wrong way, does israf or whatever, supports the oppressors. It is for anyone that has a blessing, that has enjoyed and caused them to be proud and disobedient. It means that anything that has distracted us. I want you to think right now, what blessings has God given you? And when you think about, for example, one blessing that He has given you, health. What have you done with your health? It's a blessing. Have you spent this blessing on Allah's way, or have you not spent it in Allah's way? Allah gave you strength, made you strong. Allah has given you honor. Have you spent this honor in helping people in Allah's path? Or no, you have just wasted this honor. Allah has given you money and wealth. What did you do with this money? Maybe some on the day of judgment they'll say, Allah, because I didn't spend my money wisely for you, I wish I was never rich in this world. I wish I was never capable. I wish I was poor in this world. Because I will be questioned for every blessing that I have. So I want you to examine and see right now tonight, what type of blessings have you been given? What type of capital do you have? What type of resources do you have? And have you spent them for God, His Prophet, the successors of the Prophet or not? And God forbid, if we have not, then we could be of the mutrafin, those that did not use their blessings in the right way, and it causes them only to be separated and to be distracted from the remembrance of Allah. You look, for example, money, a test that Allah has given us. Some say, this money, I worked very hard for it. It's hard for me to give in Allah's path. They think that if they spend some money for the masjid, as tonight, our masjid should not be asking, usually is, we don't have such high payments. The masjid should have so much money. If you go and see other communities, I have seen other communities that they're actually in other countries, they're not well off, but they really believe in the fact that if you spend for God, that you are only saving your money for the hereafter. You're only spending for yourself. You're only guaranteeing salvation for yourself. If you look at your time, I want for you to imagine time that God has given you. What happens when you do not come to the masjid, when you do not come to the center, and you don't spend the time in God's path? What usually happens? Let's say one Saturday night I'm not here, or one Thursday night I'm not here. Usually you see that I did something wasteless, useless. I wasted my time, usually. It's not something, if you think of the hereafter, that I have done something for myself to be saved in the hereafter. So you see, when you do not spend in the way of God, saying this, a muqaddamah to say this at the end, is that when you do not spend it for Allah, you're actually spending it for the taghut. You're spending it for another path, which is the path of shaitan and the false deity. Allah says there's two paths when you recite in the Holy Quran. In Ayatul Kursi at the end, there's two paths. Either it's the path of Allah or it's the path of Taghut. If you do not spend your time for God, if you do not spend your resources for God, then what happens? You spend it for shaitan. You spend it for yourself. You waste it, and then Allah can chastise you for it. So tonight, if you want to learn something from Sayyida Fatima, you're coming tonight for a lady that has spent all of her capital, whatever she had, for God. 100%. Actually, 110%. And we cannot become like those believers that are weak in our religion, that we do not spend our money, our time, our resources for God. I want to share this hadith with you from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. Let's give a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is one of those eye-opening narrations. And probably most of you have not heard this hadith, so listen up. It's narrated in the book of Man La Yahduruhu al-Faqih of Shaykh al-Saduq, that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam mentions, Anfiq wa ayqin bil khalaf. Anfiq, spend in God's way, and have certainty that it will be preserved for you, it will be there for you. Something will come back, that it's not wasted. Anfiq wa ayqin bil khalaf. Spend and know that you're not wasting, because in this world, I think if I have, for example, $100 and I spend $100, I have zero. But the Imam is telling us a different formula. If you have $100, you spend it, that $100 is still there. It doesn't go to waste. It is still there. It either comes back to you in this world, or it becomes a dhakhira, something that is saved in the hereafter. Then the Imam continues, وَعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ مَنْ لَمْ يُنْفِقْ فِي طَاعَةِ اللَّهِ ابْتُلِيَ بِأَنْ يُنْفِقْ فِي مَعْصِيَةِ اللَّهِ عَزَّ وَجَلَّ. Know that if you do not spend in the path of Allah, Allah will give you a situation that you will spend it in the sin of God. This is a very scary hadith. What does this mean? That you have opportunity, God gives you time, honor, money, whatever. And now you have the opportunity to spend that in the path of Rasul, in the path of Islam. You can give your time at the masjid. You can help out in the centers. You can help teach somebody something. You can, for example, fund the masjids. You do not do this. Then the narration says from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Man la yahduru al-faqih, that God will test you, and then you will spend that money in sin, in the path of sin. Meaning that you will waste that money for the path of other than Allah. What is other than Allah? My nafs, my desires. For example, let me make it very clear for you. Say I have an extra $1,000. Say, and I do not use that. If I'm saving to buy a house, I'm saving, that's something else. I'm saying you have extra. You have extra money. What usually happens when I have that $1,000 sitting there and I don't use it correctly? Something happens and I end up wasting it. I buy clothes that I don't need. I go on a vacation that I don't need. I might even do israf. I buy something that is higher than my station. And instead of this being a ni'mah for me, this becomes a niqmah for me. Instead of this being a blessing for me, this becomes for me, actually this becomes for me something that is a torture or chastisement for me. So therefore you see that if you have $1,000, for example, dollars, and you don't spend it in the right way, something will happen. And that either turns into israf, that turns into waste of money, that turns into buying something I didn't need, that turns into that frappuccino with the sprinkles on top and the foam on top, and you didn't need it necessarily, and you spend it every day. But yet, shaitan tricked you because you didn't spend it on ta'at Allah. Because Allah wants us to be serious about our religion. If you look at Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam, everything she had, she spent for Allah. Every moment, because we only have one chance to live. And every dollar that you have, every minute that you have in the hereafter, you wish that you spent it for ta'at Allah. Tuba, there are people, I know them, that everything they have, they spend it for God. They sacrifice everything for God. They're so tired, sometimes even their family members complain. And they say they're spending too much for the masjid. They're giving all their time for the masjid. Yes, you should have balance, but still, this should not allow us to be in a way that we're weak in our faith, that you don't support the message of Islam. One of our great scholars by the name of Shaykh Al-A'zam Ayatollah Sahib Rasail and Sahib Makasib, he mentions that you're either of two people. And Sheikh Murtada and Ansari, you're either of two people, he says. Either you go to the Hawza and you spend your time, your life, and you go to the Hawza, or you work. You don't go to the Hawza, you work. You have a job, you have a profession, and you support the Hawza. He says there's only two paths for you, no other third path. Either you do the actual knowledge and you spread the message of Islam yourself, or you work and you support the message with your money. So there's no other possibility. So when you look at this and you see what blessings that God has given you, I want you to understand, are you truly a mujahid fi sabilillah? Are you someone that is striving in God's path, giving your money, giving your time, giving whatever you have to help this path, so that the Imam of the age can come out of this, ghaybat that we have? Are you ready to sacrifice whatever you have during the occultation? That means that when he comes back, you sacrifice whatever you have after his dhuhr. There are people that have done this. One of our scholars by the name of Ayatollah Hasta'i, one of our scholars gives this example of him, that he was a mujtahid, a scholar, and at the same time also he did rows of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, read the musibat of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And because he was popular, there are speakers in the West right now that are popular. Some of them I talked to, says, for example, till 2028 I'm booked. The people that are speaking. He was one of those very popular speakers in Tehran. He moved and came to Tehran. But even though he was a mujtahid, he was very careful on where he would do the rows of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So he would do tawassul and ask Ahlul Bayt to show him a path, which one to go to, which one of these I should go to. So this scholar was saying his story and said that one of these Muharrams, these 10 days of Muharram, that he does tawassul and he finds out that he needs to go to a certain place which is actually in the poor area of Tehran, actually the ghettos of Tehran. And he goes to this place and finds a lady there that is very poor. And she's preparing whatever she has for Muharram. And she says, you want help for me to recite? I'll help you, in your majlis. And she tells him and warns him that, a lot of people are not going to come to my roza. So he comes and recites for 10 days and 10 nights. And because he had a sign that this was for Ahlul Bayt, teaching us that when you want to work for Ahlul Bayt, you have to make sure it's also approved by them. You don't go to everywhere, wherever, for example, has different motivations for you. You look for the sincere place. And they say that when he wanted to leave, Ayatollah Hastay, he wanted to leave, he stood up very fast to run so that this lady would not give him money, because it's customary that when somebody comes for 10 nights, you give him a gift, hadiyah. He wanted to, because he made a nadhr and vow for himself, he said, let me stand up and run. He ran fast, quickly, and this lady came and followed Ayatollah Hastay, even though she was very poor. And he really did not want to take her money because, again, she was very poor. And said that, no, I'm not going to take your money from you. And there she follows him and says that, look, I have this intention, I have this niyat. I work for 1 year. I work for 1 year and clean people's homes. I clean their homes so that I can gather money, and for 10 nights, 10 days, I can have rows of Imam Hussein in my house. Please accept my money. And after she said this, he saw it was such an intention, he accepted the money from her. Someone that has to clean people's homes will work for ta'atullah, will give whatever they have. Actually, they don't even have it. They'll go and gain money, cleaning people's homes to be at the service of Imam Hussein. That is the majlis that he saw in a dream, that Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam said that we attend that majlis. We attend. that all the majlis of Imam Hussein we pay attention to. But in dream, he saw that she said that we attend this lady's majlis. We attend that majlis. One that works, and whatever they have, they spend for God. As we said, capital. It doesn't necessarily mean money. Time that you have. The mind, beautiful mind that Allah has given you. Sometimes maybe in the masjid or communities, people need your expertise. Whatever you have, you put it in ta'atullah. Because if you do not put it in ta'atullah, obedience of Allah, the narration says you'll spend it in ma'siyatullah. Very scary. So before this money becomes, or this capital for me becomes something that, God forbid, I could waste it. Time in the same way. You do not come to the center. You do not attend classes. Usually what happens with that time? Usually you say, oh, I wasted it. I was on social media. I was watching TV. I was sleeping extra. And you see, I wasted that too. Well, Allah asked me, because in Surah Al-Asr we're taught that man is always losing. Innal insana lafi khusr. That man is always melting away. His time is melting away. So therefore, we have to make sure, if we're going to learn something from Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam, you understand that whatever she had, this holy lady had, whatever resources she had, she spent it on the way of Allah. Let's examine her life and have her be a role model for us. You want to divide the life of Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam, you divide it into the time period that when she was born in Mecca and she lived in Mecca. That's one time period. A time period where she was at Shi'ba Abi Talib and starving, and noticing that her mother, Khadija, who gave her entire wealth, was also starving in Shi'ba Abi Talib. That's how she started. If you want to see how much she gave for Allah, you see she was started in Mecca. And then her life in Medina, choosing Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam from all the different people that were suitors. So many people wanted to marry the daughter of Rasulullah. So many rich people wanted to marry her. But she chose a poor person. If you look at the humble life of Imam Ali alayhi salam, he didn't have much. And he was courageous. Somebody that's always at the forefront of battle. Choosing him possibly that he would become shaheed. You know, Rasulullah was even concerned of Imam Ali. And you see in Sunni narrations it says that sometimes he would go to battle and Rasulullah makes this dua that Allah bring Ali ibn Abi Talib back to me. He would make dua for Allah to preserve Ali ibn Abi Talib. And you say, but still give him shahadat. In the narration it says, give him martyrdom because he deserves martyrdom. But give him martyrdom after me, Rasulullah. This was his dua. Because he was at the forefront of war. A warrior, a general, like Ali ibn Abi Talib, she marries. So she chooses who? The most pious. Whatever resources she has, she spends it and gives a life that she wants to live with a mujahid fi sabilillah. Somebody that would give everything for his path for Allah. The third stage of the life of Sayyida Fatima, and this is the time that I want you to pay attention, because we're talking about our mother. We're talking about a very holy lady, and we're going to be ending soon. The third place, because usually because of respect, when Rasulullah is present, you don't see Imam Ali speaking much, right? This is adab, this is mannerisms. Rasulullah is the messenger. Imam Ali is going to be quiet. Sayyida Fatima, you're not going to see many hadith, for example, why Rasulullah is alive. But now Rasulullah passes away. Now Rasulullah, it is his demise. Now it is the time to speak. Now it is the time for Imam Ali alayhi salam to show his imamat. But Sayyida Fatima is tasked with something that Imam Ali cannot do. Imam Ali cannot speak because he's going to be forced to do bay'at. They're going after him. They're coming to his house. So he cannot speak. How many times you see, for example, sometimes Imam Zainul Abidin, he was not allowed, he was a male figure, for example, in the Battle of Karbala, or others were not allowed to speak as much, but Sayyida Zainab had to because she was a woman. So Imam Ali was in a way ma'mur and was obligated to remain quiet because of the threat that there was to his life. But this meant that Sayyida Fatima would now have to speak for Imam Ali. This meant that whatever resource she had, if she can speak well, she spoke well. Khutbah Fadakiya, one of the greatest speeches that a lady ever gave. Or the khutbah she gave to the women that came to visit her. Or if she had honor, she came to the door to defend Imam Ali alayhi salam. Or whatever resource she had. And I don't want to make you cry right now, but usually when you look at a pregnant mother, she does not come and even put herself in harm in a way that when they come towards the door, that she would be a shield, and her son Muhsin, her unborn son Muhsin, would be a shield for Ali ibn Abi Talib. This is how important she saw wilayat of Imam Ali, the guidance of mankind, because there's not going to be another prophet coming anymore. This is the final religion. And if things change, it will become like the other religions. So whatever resources, so tonight we're talking about spending our resources for Islam. Spending our resources for ta'atullah. And she gave whatever she had to help Imam Ali alayhi salam. I want to end with the speech that she gives, some of it, that she gives when they come to visit her. And you see that it says, Lamma maradat Fatima, when she was sick because of this injury that she had, because of the multiple attacks on her house, the 75, 95 days, that with her broken rib, with her arms that are bruised, and slowly becoming thinner and thinner, that finally the women of Quraysh came to visit her. After she was crying day and night, there they come to visit her, and she answers them. They ask this question, كيف أسبحت من علتك يا ابنة رسول الله? How are you from your illness, from her injuries, from her miscarriage, from her broken ribs? How are you, bint daughter of Messenger of Allah? فحمدت Allah, lesson 1 for us. She thanks Allah. فحمدت Allah, someone who is soon going to be dying from these injuries. Does hamd and thanks Allah. وصلت على أبيها, and she sends salutations on her father that she misses. I want you to imagine the people of Medina, if they came to visit her, they didn't come to give her condolences as much. We look at the traditions, we see the angels come continuously to give Sayyida Fatima condolences for the loss of her father. Angels came, the people of Medina didn't. There you see her say, ثم قالت أسبحت والله عائفة لدنياكم. By Allah, I have been resenting your world. I do not like your world. Why? Because this is the world without Ali ibn Abi Talib. I do not like a world that Ali ibn Abi Talib's wilayat is not followed. I don't like that world because guidance is not there. Some say, they ask Allama Amini, these khulafa, why don't you like them? They spread Islam, for example. They spread Islam to Iran. They spread Islam to the Byzantines. Why don't you like them, for example? Why don't you, commend them for their actions? And he says that Islam that they spread was the Islam that years later would come and kill Hussein ibn Ali. I don't like that Islam. It is the Islam that would gather around and kill Hussein ibn Ali alayhi salam. This is the importance of the message and the wilayat of Amir al-Mu'mineen, that she is giving her life. I do not like your world. غالية لرجالكن, and I am detested by your men. I do not like your men at all, because they have left Ali alayhi salam. She was so sensitive and protective of Imam Ali that even her close family members that were weak when it came to defending Imam Ali, she did not have them come to her funeral. Nobody can come to her funeral except those that love Imam Ali and protect Imam Ali. And she mentions, I have cast your men away after testing them. I have tested them. They have failed, because Ghadir was mentioned, for example, 100 days before Rasulullah passed away. I have tested them. Nobody is mentioning Hadith Ghadir anymore. No one is mentioning the walayat of Imam Ali, the Mawla of the believers. In fact, they're trying to take the Mawla of the believers and force him allegiance. I hated them after examining them. I hate them. Thus away with the men of playing after seriousness, striking the soft rocks, slackening the spears, the foolishness of judgments, and the deviations of fancies. Then she mentions here, وَمَا الَّذِي نَقِمُ مِنْ أَبِي الْحَسَنِ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. What do you deny from Abul Hasan? How respectful. This is the way that you mention Imam Ali's name by his kunya, Abul Hasan. Why do you detest Ali ibn Abi Talib? They're coming to visit her. She has injuries that she is going to die soon from them. She doesn't say, my ribs are broken. She doesn't say, my arm is broken, for example, or hurt. Or my eyelid, some of the narrations have, even her eyes were damaged. She doesn't mention any of this. And says, why do you deny Abul Hasan? نَقِمُوا مِنْهُ وَاللَّهِ نَكِيرَ سَيْفِ. Yes, they denied the beating of his sword. وَقِلَّةِ مُبَالَاتِهِ بِحَتْفِ. And his carelessness about death, that Imam Ali did not care about dying in the path of Allah, because he said in the tradition, it does not matter if I go towards Allah of death or if death goes towards me, there is no difference. Why do you detest Ali ibn Abi Talib? وَشِدَّةِ وَطْأَتِ وَنَكَالَ وَقْأَتِ. And his deadly assault and his anger for the path of Allah. Then she says that if you followed Imam Ali, if you had chosen him as your wali, وَلَأَوْرَدَهُمْ مَنْهَلًا نَمِيرًا صَافِيًا رَوِيًّا. He would have led them to a fresh flowing fount, a fresh place of water. This is where Imam Ali alayhi salam would have led you. So you see that Sayyida Fatima, every resource that she had, she spent it for Allah. Even at the last days of her life, when they came to visit her, she again promoted the walayat of Ali ibn Abi Talib and asked them, why do you detest Imam Ali? Why do you ignore him? This is the lesson for me and you, dear brother and dear sister. If you want to be a soldier of the Imam of the age, and you think that you are of the 313, for example, and during the occultation you have done nothing for him, how can you expect yourself to be one of his closest companions? Today we have people day and night, they are working to wake up the world, to educate the world, to teach about Ahlul Bayt, Islam and Quran during nights and days. If you truly want to be serious about your religion, you have to sacrifice your resources. Because Imam Sadiq says, whoever does not spend in ta'atullah will spend in ma'siyatullah, will waste that time, will waste that money. So let's be serious, inshallah. And I tell this to myself, of course. Do not be tired. Do not have weakness of faith. Do tawakkul to Allah and inshallah, and promote the beautiful religion of Islam. Let's recite salawat and dim the lights. We ask all of you humbly to keep us in your dua. There are many people that are sick. Their children are sick. Some have terminal illnesses. Many of our family members are waiting for us, and they wish that they're in this majlis right now. You are alive, you're able to make dua for your parents, for your marhumeen. May Allah grant you all of your hawaij, inshallah, tonight, by the name of Sayyida Fatima, and by the blessed name of her father, Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Tradition says that فَمَنْ عَرَفَ فَاطِمَةً حَقَّ مَعْرِفَتِهَا فَقَدْ أَدْرَكَ لَيْلَةَ الْقَدْرِ. Whoever realizes and knows Fatima alayhi salam with the reality of this knowledge has witnessed and understands the night of Qadr, the night of destiny. There's a relationship between the night of destiny, Laylatul Qadr, and Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam. What is this relationship? One, her worth, just how Laylatul Qadr, we truly don't know the importance of such a night. We truly don't know the real position of Sayyida Fatima. We read verses about her, 33, 361, how brother read. But do we truly know how she is? Do we truly know that why she is called Fatima, Fa, Ta, and Mim? Because she will separate her Shia from the hellfire. She will have such position and power that on the day of judgment, it says when she picks and chooses her followers and the followers of her followers, that everyone wishes they were of the Fatimiyyah. They were attributed to her. Just like Laylatul Qadr, you don't know what it is. You cannot understand who Sayyida Fatima alayhi salam truly is. Two, Laylatul Qadr is khayrun min alfi shahr. When you say that whoever understands Fatima understands Laylatul Qadr, that there's a relationship. The night of destiny is better than 1,000 months. It multiplies your actions. In doing sincere action and sincere work, for Sayyida Fatima multiplies it intensely. Three, every prophet is elevated in the night of Qadr. And every prophet it has in narration, ما تكاملت النبوة النبي حتى أقر بفضلها ومحبتها. The prophethood of every prophet becomes complete with the love of Sayyida Fatima and testifying to her station. So every prophet is elevated by Laylatul Qadr, and every prophet is elevated and completed by the love of Sayyida Fatima. Laylatul Qadr is a vessel that the Holy Quran descends and is revealed. Inna anzalnahu fi Laylatul Qadr. The entire Quran in its completeness comes to Rasulullah on the night of Qadr. And Sayyida Fatima is also a vessel for the Imams, from Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, into the Savior of mankind. وَسَلَلْتَ مِنْهَا أَنْوَارَ الْأَئِمَّةِ. And from her are all the nur and light of all the Imams, the mother of all the Imams. It's a night like this, one of the last nights of Sayyida Fatima. I want to take you to Medina, 1400 years ago, to see what your mom, Sayyida Fatima, was speaking and how she was like. She was a lady that did not complain about her injuries. When one person breaks their bone, how much they cry and scream. Some say that Ali ibn Abi Talib did not know about the broken rib until he did ghusl of his wife, and then he found out that actually her ribs were broken. Do you know what it means to have your ribs broken? It means that you cannot sleep at night. It means that every inhale and exhale for 75, 95 nights means that you die and you become alive again. You die and you become alive again. It's Asma bint Umays, the wife of Ja'far al-Tayyar, comes to visit her. There she sees that Sayyida Fatima, in the last moments of her life, she made this dua. What was one of the last du'as of Fatima to Zahra? She says this, Ilahi narrated, Ilahi wa Sayyidi, As'aluka balladhina astafaytahum wa bibuka'i waladay fi mufaraqati. I ask Allah, this is my prayer, but I ask Allah through these names, the names of those that you have chosen, and I ask you, Allah, by the tears of my sons, Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein, that they will cry after me. I ask you, because of the tears of Imam Hussein. What was her dua? أن تغفر لأصاة شيعتي, that she forgive the sinning Shias. She didn't say that you bless the perfect Shia. She prayed for me and you, especially someone like me that's a sinner. She says that you forgive the sins, لأصاة شيعتي. Forgive the sins of my Shia, وَشِيعَةَ ذُرِّيَّتِي, and the followers of Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein and my progeny. Meaning she remembered us. When she was dying, she remembered us. This was her dua. Because she's a mother. A mother won't allow her children to go to the hellfire. A mother will not allow her children to suffer. In the day of judgment, they to ask her to go to heaven. But she waits and says, what about my Shia? What about my followers? Now we see that it is one of these nights, and now Imam Ali alayhi salam, Madloom Imam Ali, when she passes away, and he's informed. Some say here Abul Hasan goes face first on the ground when he's informed that Fatima has passed away. The champion of Khaybar falls face first. There, he's going to listen to the wasiyat of his wife. When she mentioned, Ghassilni bil-layl, Ali alayhi salam, Allah has made me for you in the wasiyat, so that I can be for you in the dunya and the akhirat. Ali, wash me at night. Daffinni bil-layl. At night time bury me. Wala tu'lam ahada, and do not inform anyone. It's a secret funeral. Go, Ali alayhi salam. So Imam Ali goes in such a night with Imam Hassan, Imam Hussein, Salman, Miqdad, a few people. There Abul Hasan alayhi salam is putting the holy body of Sayyida Fatima in a very secret place, a place where nobody can know. Nighttime, a dark night. Imam Ali alayhi salam, the grief approaches him, and he mentions that from now on my nights will be sleepless. I will not be able to sleep. There he has conversation with Rasulullah, and he says that basically, I am giving back this trust to you, Rasulullah, that you gave to me when we were married. But do not ask me to inform you what happened to her. I was obligated to be quiet, to be silent. I was obligated to keep Dhul Faqar in the sheath and not to devastate the enemy. I was obligated for patience, because this is the thorn in my throat. But Rasulullah, ask her what happened, ask her what your followers did to her after you passed away. And there Ali ibn Abi Talib is burying Sayyida Fatima. He takes his hands from the dirt. There, huzn and grief attacks Ali ibn Abi Talib. Now, when a person goes to a funeral and is putting the final dirt on that body, realizes that what a treasure and what a priceless individual that I have now lost. And at that time, Imam Ali alayhi salam, it's mentioned in narrations that his tears began to become flowing on his cheeks, and very madloom and oppressed. Ali ibn Abi Talib now will be going to a home without Sayyida Fatima in it. A home that Imam Hassan and Imam Hussein will be crying. Lady Zainab and Kulthum will be crying. And now Ali ibn Abi Talib will be left to be at home mourning Sayyida Fatima while his rights are usurped. Ya Allah, we ask you, because of the light and nur of Sayyida Fatima, grant everyone their hawa'ij, inshallah. Sayyidi salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة وموضع الرسالة ومختلف الملائكة ومهبط الوحي ومعدن الرحمة وخزان العلم ومنتهى الحلم وأصول الكرم وقادة الأمم وأولياء النعم وعناصر الأبرار ودعائم الأخيار وساسة العباد وأركان البلاد وأبواب الإيمان وأمناء الرحمن وسلالة النبيين وصفة المرسلين وعترة خيرة رب العالمين ورحمة الله وبركاته. يا فاطمة الزهراء يا فاطمة الزهراء يا بنت محمد السلام عليك يا بنت حبيب الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. دلهامون رو روانه کنیم مدینه مدینه مدینه. هرچه خواندم در بقیع از سینه عقده وا نشد. هرچه خواندم در بقیع از سینه عقده وا نشد. هرچه گشتم قبر زهرا مادرم پیدا نشد. هرچه خواندم در بقیع از سینه عقده وا نشد. هرچه گشتم قبر زهرا مادرم پیدا نشد. راه ما را بسته بودند هرچه من میخواستم تا روم در پیش قبر مادر سقا نشد نشد نشد. سر به دیوارش نهادم روزه ها خواندم ولی هیچ یک از روزه هایم روزه زهرا نشد. زهرا جان، همه با هم، زهرا جان، زهرا جان. روزه بیبی چه بود؟ کوچه ای تنگ و دلی سنگ و صدای ضرب دست. کوچه ای تنگ و دلی سنگ و صدای ضرب دست. بعد از آن سیلی دگر چشمان زهرا وا نشد وا نشد. زهرا جان، از همان شب که علی تابوت را بر شانه برد، زائر زهرا شدن جز نیمه شبها نشد نشد. قدیمی ها می گفتن منتظر می شد که آخرین چراغ مدینه خاموش بشه که به دیدار یار بره. بعد زهرا مرتضا ماند و غم زخم زبان، هیچ کس جز درد پهلو همدم مولا نشد. زهرا جان زهرا جان زهرا مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه منزل قرآن، بود کعبه گرفتارت که هستی تربت زهرا. چرا با ما نمیگویی حدیث غربت زهرا؟ مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر مدینه شهر گلهایی، چه گلهایی همه پرپر. چرا خاموش و دلگیری؟ مدینه شور و شینت کو. امام مجتبیت کو، حسینت کو، حسینت کو. به بالای سر محبوب به حق آه و ویلا، نشست ساقی کوثر، شکست آه و ویلا. مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر، مدینه شهر پیغمبر.
علی به سمت مسجد روونه، آتیش گرفته تموم خونه، مادر گرفته دامان مولا، پیچیده دستش به تازیونه. امی از زهرا مظلومن، 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 امی از زهرا مظلومن. میون باغچه دلام بارون نم نم میزنه، همسایمون در خونشون باز داره پرچم میزنه. این صدای چاووشه میگه ببین که شش گوشه، برای مادر ارباب داره مشکی میپوشه. روز خونی شد تو ایوونا، با کربلاییام با مهمونا زبون میگیرن آسمونا. امی از زهرا مظلومن، امی از زهرا مظلومن، امی از زهرا مظلومن، امی از زهرا مظلومن. در و دیوار هیئتا کتیبه های غم میخواد، به خدا فاطمیه هم یه دونه محتشم میخواد. در و دیوار هیئتا کتیبه های غم میخواد. به خدا فاطمیه هم یه دونه محتشم میخواد. مثل محرم تمومه خیابونا علم میخواد. آتیش میگیرن هی دریا میخوان بمیرن. مادریا وقتی میخونن آذریا یارالی ننه یارالی ننه یارالی ننه یارالی ننه یارالی ننه. همسایه هامون نمیخوان مادر بیتابمونو. میگن صدای گریه هاش به هم زده خوابمونو. همسایه هامون نمیخوان مادر بیتابمونو. میگن صدای گریه هاش به هم زده خوابمونو. چند روز بابا ندیده روی آفتابمونو. این تأثیر آتیشه کار پهلوی زخمیشه. را که میره نفساش یکی در میون میشه. داره میخونه باد صبا با گریه زاری. تو این شبا مثل امیره تشنه لبا. امی از زهرا مظلومن امی از زهرا مظلومن امی از زهرا مظلومن امی از زهرا تسبیح فاطمه بعد الله اکبر. حیدر حیدر یا حیدر 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 یا حیدر حیدر حیدر. تسبیح فاطمه بعد الله اکبر. حیدر حیدر یا حیدر حیدر حیدر. آیه به آیه یاسین و قدر و کوثر. حیدر حیدر یا حیدر 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 یا حیدر. آیه به آیه یاسین و قدر و کوثر. حیدر حیدر یا حیدر 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 یا حیدر. تسبیح فاطمه بعد الله اکبر. حیدر حیدر یا حیدر 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 یا حیدر. آیه به آیه یاسین و قدر و کوثر. حیدر 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 یا حیدر. عشق دیروز و امروز و فردا علیم. اول و آخر هر دو دنیا علیم. حک شده روی انگشتر فاطمه لا امیر المؤمنین الا علی لا امیر المؤمنین الا علی پدر خاک مادر آب علی و فاطمه مهر و مهتاب قدر و کوثر حمد و توحید علی و فاطمه ماه و خورشید علی و فاطمه ماه و خورشید حیدر 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 یا حیدر یا حیدر 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 نعره مرتضی موقع فتح خیبر زهرا زهرا یا زهرا 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 یا زهرا 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 نعره مرتضی موقع فتح خیبر زهرا زهرا یا زهرا 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 یا زهرا ذکر لب علی روی دوش پیامبر زهرا زهرا یا زهرا 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 یا زهرا خطبه میخونه با اقتدار علی زهرا که هست کوه استوار علی عزت و آبروی همه عالم چادر فاطمه ذوالفقار علی چادر فاطمه ذوالفقار علی پدر خاک مادر آب علی و فاطمه مهر و مهتاب قدر و کوثر حمد و توحید علی و فاطمه ماه و خورشید علی و فاطمه ماه و خورشید حیدر 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 یا حیدر یا حیدر 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 دامن فردوس و دود چگونه باور کنم دامن فردوس و دود چگونه باور کنم آتش و بیت ودود چگونه باور کنم آتش و بیت ودود چگونه باور کنم حوری و دیو زشت وای از این سرنوشت حوری و دیو زشت وای از این سرنوشت جنت و یاس کبود چگونه باور کنم جنت و یاس کبود حکم خدا و رسول حرمت و قدر بتول حکم خدا و رسول حرمت و قدر بتول گشت فراموش زود چگونه باور کنم گشت فراموش زود سوی بهشت حجاز بولهب آورده باز خطب جای عود چگونه باور کنم پیش روی باغبان آمده دست خزان بر ورق گل فرود. چگونه باور کنم دوری که روح الامین، دری که روح الامین بر آن گذارد جبین، خصم به آتش گشود. چگونه باور کنم خصم به آتش گشود. چگونه باور خوردن نان و نمک، آتش و قصب فدک. خوردن نان و نمک، آتش و قصب فدک. اجر رسالت نبود. چگونه باور کنم اجر رسالت نبود. چگونه باور کنم حق علی را همه، حق علی را همه با زدن فاطمه خصم تلافی نمود. چگونه باور کنم شیعه از اعماق دل ناله بزن متصل، ظلم گذشت از حدود. چگونه باور کنم ظلم گذشت از حدود. چگونه باور کنم بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا، بر مشامم میرسد هر لحظه بوی کربلا. بر دلم ترسم بماند آرزوی کربلا، بر دلم ترسم بماند تشنه آب فراتم، تشنه آب فرات، تشنه آب فراتم. ای اجل مهلت بده تا بگیرم در بغل قبر شهید کربلا، تا بگیرم در بغل قبر شهید کربلا. حسین 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 چرا هوا زمستونیه دیوار خونمون خونیه، چرا هوا زمستونیه دیوار خونمون خونیه، در خونه پر از هیزمه. مادر کجایی مادر کجایی، چرا هوا زمستونیه دیوار خونمون خونیه، در خونه پر از هیزمه. مادر کجایی مادر کجایی، هوای کوچمون مه شده، گلای باغچمون له شده، حیاتمون پر از مردمه. مادر کجایی مادر، از آتیش در شعله بر هنوز داره زبونه میاد، داریم میمیریم از دلهره، صدای تازیونه میاد. خدا خدا ای خدا واویلا، ببار ای بارون ببار، شبیه مجنون ببار، به حال ما خون ببار ای بارون، ببار ای بارون ببار، شبیه مجنون ببار، به حال ما ای بارون. پر تب و تابه دل بیقرارم، اگه تو بری زهرا جان کسی رو ندارم. گل چادر گل دارت، تب دستای تب دارت، آتیشم زده نفست که خراب میشه، مثل شمعی که آب میشه. حال من بده نه تو حرف میزنی، نه حسین نه حسن. چی شد اون خنده هات؟ آخه یه حرفی بزن. نه تو حرف میزنی، نه حسین نه حسن. چی شد اون خنده هات؟ آخه یه حرفی. تو که پریشونی دلخوشی کدومه؟ برای علی بعد از تو همه چی تمومه. تو که پریشونی دلخوشی کدومه؟ برای علی بعد از تو همه چی تمومه. شبا ساکت و بیداریم ولی معلومه درد داری. بین هر نفس پر اشک سکوت تو، پر گریه قنوت تو. کنج این قفس بیا امشب بذار خودتو جای من. چه کنم فاطمه؟ آخه یه حرفی بزن. بیا امشب بذار خودتو جای من. چه کنم فاطمه؟ آخه یه حرفی بزن. ببین میتوانی بمانی، بمان عزیزم تو خیلی جوانی. بمان چه کم دارد این زندگانی. بمان ببین میتوانی بمانی.
در روزه ایم و روزه رضوان گدای ماست. اینجا دعای حضرت زهرا برای ماست. حالا که فرصت است غنیمت شمار، فردا به زیر سردی این خاک جای ماست. دردم نهفته به ز طبیبان مدعی، گرد عبای حضرت جانان دوای ماست. آنان که خاک را به نظر کیمیا کنند، یک گوشه چشمشان به خدا کیمیای ماست. این اشک رحمتی است که از عرش میرسد. این چاه زمزمی است که در چشمهای ماست. این جامیان عرش خدا سیر میکنیم، بالا نشسته ایم و جهان زیر پای ماست. این اشک ها همیشه گره باز میکنند، گریه برای فاطمه مشکل گشای ماست. گریه برای فاطمه مشکل گشای ماست. ما عهد بسته ایم و که بمیریم در غمش، مردن برای روزه مادر بنای ماست. دست شکسته و سینه زخمی و رخ کبود، این واژه ها خلاصه شرح عزای ماست. یا فاطمة الزهرا، هر چقدر حاجت داری امروز صدا بزن، توسل بکن. چقدر مادرامون ما رو به حق فاطمه زهرا قسم دادن، حاجت خواستن، برای جوونا، برای مریضا، همه رو در نظر بگیر. یا فاطمة الزهرا، یا بنت محمد، یا قرة عین الرسول، یا سیدتنا و مولاتنا، انا توجهنا واستشفعنا وتوسلنا بك إلى الله وقدمناك بين يدي حاجاتنا، يا وجيهة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله، يا وجيهة عند الله اشفعي لنا عند الله.
اللهم عجل وليك الفرج، اللهم عجل وليك الفرج، اللهم عجل وليك الفرج والعافية والناس، واجعلنا من خير أوانه وشيته والمستشهدين بين يديه، واجعل صلاتنا به مقبولة وهمومنا به مكفية وارزاقنا به واسعة وذنوبنا به مغفورة وارزاقنا به واسعة، واجعل عواقب أمورنا وأمور أولادنا خيرا. اللهم اشف مرضانا، اللهم اغفر ديوننا، اللهم ارحم امواتنا، اللهم فك اسرانا، اللهم ارحمنا انت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. اعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اما يجيب أما يجيب أما